Hello everyone, this is Steven from the Even Steven channel, and today I had a little, public service announcement I wanted to make. The question that might come up sometimes is, can you use 9mm ammo? This is actually dummy cap, snap cap. Can you use 9mm ammo in your 40 Smith & Wesson magazines? Now, why might something like this come up? Why would you even try such a thing? Well, between around 1990 and 2010, the caliber of choice by law enforcement in handguns was the 40 Smith & Wesson cartridge. It was the thing, it was the fad, it was the trend. Then after 2010, people started going back to 9mm. Now, regardless of whether or not 9mm is better than 40 Smith & Wesson or 40 Smith & Wesson is better than 9mm, isn't important. The truth is, right now, the trend is going back towards 9mm. But for 20 years, manufacturers were cranking out 40 Smith & Wesson and, to a lesser degree, 357 SIG handguns. So I have my P250, and I had it in 357 SIG. Also with the 40 Smith & Wesson barrel, so I had access to, it's not focused, there we go, 40 Smith & Wesson and 357 SIG. But maybe you have a Glock 23, maybe you have a Glock 22, maybe you have a SIG P250, a SIG P229, a 226, and maybe you get a conversion barrel, or maybe you just get an entire new slide, like I did. I just got a whole new slide. The question that might come up is, can you put 9mm ammo in these 40 Smith & Wesson / 357 SIG magazines? That's another thing. The magazines for 40 Smith & Wesson or 357 SIG are interchangeable. Just keep that in mind. If you have like a 357 SIG Glock, you can just use the 40 Smith & Wesson magazines, no problem. But now, let's just see, like me, let's say you buy a Glock 22 or Glock 23, police trade-in, you buy a new slide or buy a conversion barrel. Can you just use these magazines? Because that saves you a whole lot of money. And I haven't seen people talk about this, because I've seen videos. I've seen multiple videos on Glock 9mm conversion barrels. Like, yep, just drop in your conversion barrel, dedicated barrel just for this purpose of converting a 40 Smith & Wesson Glock to 9mm, and just buy some new 9mm mag. Wait. Buy some new 9mm magazines. Do you have to do that? And I'm going to tell you, here we go, ready? The answer is no, you don't. You do not need to buy new magazines for your gun. And I have put a couple hundred rounds of 9mm through my 40 Smith & Wesson magazines. The feed lips, there is a difference in the feed lips, but it's not big enough difference to make a big deal. The difference is so small that's inconsequential. The magazine will retain 9mm ammo, no problem. I can put it into this 9mm handgun. Let me find those before I lose them. And it's almost like it's a secret. Like people are trying to sell you magazines. You don't need them. Now, for maximum reliability, should you use 9mm magazines in your gun if you're shooting 9mm ammo? Possibly. I had one malfunction one time. I'll tell you what it was. In like, say, 200 rounds, where for some reason I had a malfunction when I was shooting, and the gun was like this. The slide had locked back, but there was still ammo in there. It's possible I was pushing up on the slide release. That's kind of easy to do on the P250. So there is a possibility that you might have a reduced amount of reliability with putting 9mm ammo in your 40 Smith & Wesson magazines, but very minimal, very minimal. And if you are so concerned about reliability that you have to have maximum reliability, get a dedicated gun. Don't do this conversion stuff. Buy a 9mm handgun. This is kind of like if you buy a police trade-in Glock 22 or a police trade-in Glock 23 and you got a really good deal on it, or something like this, or a SIG P29 or P226, and you buy a new slide. Can you use the old magazines? Can you use the 40 Smith & Wesson magazines? And the answer is yes. And I wanted to make this video because it's almost like a dirty little secret. Like, no, you can do it. I've done it. It can be done. And there's an older like Glock store video about this that does cover this. Admittedly, it does cover it, but it's kind of buried in that video. And I thought I'd just make this video myself. I guess that was it. Just kind of want to answer that question myself. Put a little public service announcement out there. If someone Google searches or YouTube searches, this will come up and you'll watch it. And hopefully you will like the video and you'll subscribe and you'll watch other videos. So that's pretty much it. This is Steven from the Even Steven channel. Answer the question: yes, you can use 9mm ammo in your 40 Smith & Wesson magazines. Thank you and goodbye.